Detroit City FC has begun to make their move in the Great Lakes Conference tonight. Another MPSL matchup as FC Indiana rolls into town. Le Rouge, FC Indiana, we will kick it coming up next.
Bounds shifts the flow, and offsides prevents a rush. The ball soars into the goal. Borders make up the game, but for the sport to take root in Detroit, it took a community unafraid to blur the borders. Since its founding in 2012, Detroit City FC has grown to become the most positive story in the American game. But soccer didn't just appear in our city 6 years ago. Professional soccer made its debut in 1967 when William Clay Ford founded the Cougars, so named for the car his company debuted that very same year. And over in Scotland, Detroiter Gil Heron broke the color barrier, suiting up for Celtic in 1951. You can still hear stories about the Black Arrow in Glasgow pubs. But back home in Detroit bars, the sport was on the sidelines. Filling a soccer stadium just didn't seem possible. Of course, they say the best way to spot Detroiters is to tell them that something is impossible. Then sit back and watch what they do. Detroit City FC first took the field at Cass Tech High School. A roster of homegrown amateurs and former pros, Les Rouges put on such a show that it again begged the old question. Is Detroit finally ready for soccer? This time, 1,000 voices answer. Surrounded by a city built on hard work and commitment, the players left everything on the field. And the supporters responded with a dedication of their own. The border between possible and impossible began to blur. Cass Tech couldn't contain the enthusiasm, so with the help of supporter investments, the club moved to Hamtramck. Keyworth Stadium sits in the middle of our state's most diverse city, which itself happens to be in the middle of Detroit. And inside that stadium, borders became bonds. A team playing for its community. A community lifting a team to all new heights. A club bringing the rest of the world here to Detroit. The message of the DCFC generation is clear. These lines, these differences, on the field and off, they don't separate us. They connect us. They make us stronger. Come and get it. 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 Come and...
Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside historic Keyworth Stadium for tonight's NPSL soccer matchup between FC Indiana and Detroit City FC. In the rain, alongside my broadcast partner, John Krieger, my name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be watching. And, John, speaking of the rain, DCFC made it rain goals last weekend. 11-0 the win over FC Indiana.
But you know what the most important part of it was, Neil? They kept things going and clinically dismantled an opponent. That's what championship caliber teams do against the kind of team they faced.
As we take a look at the NPSL table in the Great Lakes Conference, and John, last week we discussed the fact the table looked a little weird with DCFC down at the bottom. They're starting to make their move, however.
It looks a little better, doesn't it? But the thing about it is that City needs to do it again. They play the same two opponents this weekend. They need nothing less than 6 from these two matches.
Let's take a look at the starting 11, powered by DTE Energy. And, John, as we look at this 11 here tonight for head coach Ben Pierman, a lot of veterans out there here today.
And that's because you want to ride the wave. You have a situation where you want to keep the goals going, keep the good momentum going, and you need to pick up points with games in hand.
The sunshine's starting to move in, and we're getting ready for the opening kick. We will get things rolling. Detroit City FC, FC Indiana, coming up next. Welcome back inside Keyworth Stadium as we're just moments away from tonight's walkout and introductions. Detroit City FC and FC Indiana. Neil Rule, John Krieger back with you. Lindsey Pearson as our sideline reporter. Happy to have you back with us. And John, you know, we talked about it a lot here, especially during the Open. When you look at this matchup here tonight, the biggest thing you want to do is just keep that offensive flow going.
Absolutely. You beat a team 11-0. It's a good start. You want to keep that moving as you move through the NPSL season.
And your Detroit City FC.
And right now we will send it to tonight's walkout. The teams are joined by players from one of the best international academies. That's right, Liverpool FC, International Academy of Michigan.
Our players from Liverpool FC, International Academy, Michigan. For tonight's starting lineups, powered by DTE Energy. For FC Indiana, number 20, Felix Dawson. Number 21, Gerardo Escobedo. Number 14, Ulysses Hernandez. Number 9, Ocam Kalu. Number 13, Jimmy Ortiz Rosado. Number 3, Alfredo Riano. Number 2, Ricardo Ruiz. Number 4, Stanley Sandoval. Number 12, Alex Sanswango. Number 30, Sebastian Uranga. Number 15, Vincent Sai. Head coach of SC Indiana is Eric Castro. Your officials for tonight's match are Damanucha Jafar Rasul, Samuel Pizzamenti, and Samir Al-Masir. And now for your hometown Detroit City FC's starting 11. Number 98, Brandon Bartel. Number 33, Connor Brazil. Number 27, Jakob Spelik. Number 25, TJ Stevens. Number 21, Harvey Moyes. Number 19, Aiden Garcia. Number 11, Rafa Mensingen. Number 9, Sean Lawson. Number 5, Stephen Carroll. Number 1, Fernando Pina. And your captain tonight, number 4, Seb Harris. Head coach of Detroit City FC is Ben Pierman. Associate head coach of Detroit City FC is Cale Wasserman. Technical advisor is Austin DeBoer. Assistant coaches are Jordan Andrews, Josh Rogers, and Brett Mullen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the national anthem, led by the Detroit City FC supporter section.
I don't know. Something about NFL.
Our national anthem led by the Northern Guard supporter section, always in fine form, at least voice-wise anyway. There's a look at the starting keeper tonight, Fernando Pena. And John, Fernando Pena certainly has had his share of success against FC Indiana in the past.
Absolutely. He was on the winning end of a 2-0 decision at Keyworth last year. Kept a clean sheet over the weekend as well. That earned him, at least on one ballot, NPSL Team of the Week honors. And also with a pretty good penalty save that really spurred City onto that win at Keyworth a year ago. Looking for more of the same out of number 1 tonight.
Speaking of that, Sean Lawson picking up some all NPSL honors as well with the National Team of the Week. Let's take a look at the weather for the kickoff here today. 73 degrees. It has cooled quite a bit. Earlier this afternoon, it was a bit steamy here in the Metro Detroit area, but a little bit of rain came through, and things have really cooled off. All in all, John, maybe the wind's a little high right now, but all in all, it should be a good night for football. You know, it should. The only thing I'm concerned about is that the wind here at Keyworth is swirling just a little bit. If you look at those Northern Guard flags across the way, some of them are blowing toward the DFCU lounge on the left end of the stadium. Some of them are blowing backward, away from the lounge. And so with that kind of a swirling wind on set pieces, it can play havoc in the box for keepers. So it'll be interesting to see how Fernando Pena and the other keeper for FC Indiana will get underway tonight and handle set pieces in the box. That'll be Sebastian Oranga for FC Indiana. FC Indiana coming in with an 0-5 mark. Of course, Detroit City FC last weekend really took it to them, 11-0 the final score. FC Indiana yet to score a goal in Great Lakes Conference play. They will move on to host Milwaukee on Sunday after tonight's matchup. Detroit City FC in the meantime, a 2-1 mark coming off that 11-0 win. They will play at FC Columbus next Friday. Indiana will possess to start as you get a look at Detroit City FC in the whites with the collars tonight. Very clean look with that Lift logo on the front.
You know, it's the second time they've had to wear opposite colors with FC Indiana on the pitch. Last year, FC Indiana wore their red jerseys. City came out in their home rouge. And so there was a bit of a color clash to begin. Tonight, FC Indiana in the blacks and City going with the whites, giving us that look at that stylish away kit.
The first 9 minutes of this Watch City stream are brought to you by Wheelhouse Detroit. Wheelhouse offers retail, service, rentals, bike tours, and for anyone interested in riding up to Keyworth, a free bike valet on all DCFC match days. Wheelhouse Detroit with locations in Hamtramck and of course downtown Detroit as well. As the smoke pours out of the Northern Guard supporter section to get things rolling, here's some possession with Aiden Garcia working it on the right side. Garcia had a breakout season at Valpo last year, scoring 9 goals. That was the 7th best season in the history of soccer at Valpo.
And by the way, Fernando Pena, who normally stands at the edge of his D, came all the way out about 30 yards away from goal to get away from the smoke to begin. Good thing that City was able to set up possession and get things into the attacking third. That's the visible third right now at Keyworth, Neil.
And there's a good look at Fernando Pena. He's more a rumor at this point. But make no mistake, one of the top shelf keepers in all the NPSL. Just underway here at Keyworth. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Lindsey Pearson, as always, our sideline reporter. That ball touched ahead by Stanley Sandoval for FC Indiana. Ball swung out wide towards the left, and there is Sandoval on the run. Won't catch up to it.
City starting with 4 at the back, but one of the wing backs coming forward. And so 3 really anchoring the City back line right now. Fernando Pena in his own area. And a nice job to play at the wings. City just doing what they can to control possession early. The most important thing tonight, Neil, is really to keep the momentum from last Sunday up. You want to go out, treat it like it's 3 more points you have to win, and continue that kind of clinical dismantling of a team. That's been one of City's bugaboos throughout the last couple of years. There's an error and a foul.
Very dangerous play by the keeper, Uranga.
I think we're going to see our first booking of the day, Neil.
And it will be a yellow card. That will go in the books to the keeper, Urenga. Rafael Menzigan causing some problems, but a very dangerous restart position here for Detroit City FC as we take another look.
Keepers, by the way, have not had the easiest time for FC Indiana here at Keyworth Stadium. A year ago in this same fixture, Kyle Bouguet was sent off for FC Indiana. So that's 2 bookings for FC Indiana keepers in the last 2 fixtures here at Keyworth.
Stephen Carroll standing over, as is Aiden Garcia. Stephen Carroll plays his college soccer at Davenport, was a GLIAC Defensive Player of the Year, NAI Honorable Mention All-America as well.
That wall, 5 people, but I'll tell you what, I don't necessarily like the positioning here of the keeper for FC Indiana. A lot of room on either side to work with.
Stephen Carroll will curl one in, and he puts it in off the free kick. Stephen Carroll gets things going early. 1-0 City.
And that's what happens, Neil, when the keeper isn't well positioned. He gave Stephen Carroll too much of a window to go through and around the wall. If you're going to position a 5-player wall like that, you've got to take half the net and trust your wall to take the other half. Keeper's in the middle, and Carroll knew he could just go for the post because the positioning wasn't very good. The wall didn't jump as a unit, left too many gaps, and the keeper for FC Indiana, Urenga, didn't claim his half of things, had to come back and make up for the wall's mistake. Carroll with the easy goal, his second of the week. Got his first goal of the season against FC Indiana on Sunday. That's 2-2 for him.
Jakov Svelik plays the ball across, addition to the starting lineup here today. Plays at St. Mary's College. Had a goal against Akron last year during his time. Quick restart this time as Tyler Stevens gets it rolling. So DCFC on the board early. They were on the board often last weekend.
I must admit, I was watching Lindsey Pearson's Twitter feed. It was a fun watch on Sunday afternoon. And my favorite tweet of the day was for the last goal, wrapping up, I believe it was Mensingen's or Brogan Shrimpton's hat trick. All Lindsey tweeted was, I really don't know what else to say except we scored again. That's when you know you've had a really good day on the pitch.
Moyes works it around towards the left side. Remember, you can send us your tweets with the hashtag WatchCity. A special hello to our good guy, Jordan Charlupski. He's not here at Keyworth tonight. He's down in Florida for a wedding. But he said, I'm sure our DCFC staff is working their tails off to put on a great event. Now it's time to get those 3 points. Come on, you boys in Rouge. And Jordan, have a good time at the wedding, my friend, down in Florida. We miss you, bud, but you'll be back.
We'll hold it down for you while you're gone. You enjoy.
I handle all the ticketing duties in your absence, Jordan, so I'm just kidding. I did nothing of the sort. Ball played up ahead on the left side. Sean Lawson, nifty little give. Was chipped ahead by Connor Brazil. But that pass was deflected out, so no Joga Benita for Brazil on that one.
Very nice.
When you think of a good one, man, you got to use it at every opportunity because you don't know if you're going to get the chance again.
You're going to see some Joga Bonita coming up in Russia this summer.
Throw-in awarded to FC Indiana as Felix Dawson will toss it in. No, it'll be a kick instead. So the keeper Urenga will come over to put the boot to it.
City tracking back now, Neil, but they are throwing caution to the wind and moving forward. Not a whole lot of respect for the FC Indiana front line right now. Only 2 staying back when City are in the attacking third. Wingbacks far forward. They've compressed the field, and they get possession back easily there, winning the ball easily in the air.
Sean Lawson with some nifty footwork, as is the usual. Tremendous touch and skill from Sean Lawson, the former Golden Grizzlies great. His dad, Samuel, played for the Jamaican national team. He played some time as well for the Jamaican national U17 team. And a nice touch from Lawson. Ball played ahead. Bartel on the move. The cross, and diving to the turf and making the grab is Urenga.
Nice idea by Bartel. I love to see him pick up his head and not try to do it all himself. Look, he's going to chase that down, but right there, picks up the head and is looking back. His only error, he needed to put a little more fizz on the soda pop and send it through the crease. It allowed Urenga to make up for a misstep and get underneath the ball. But that's a great job of being the man on the wing with a head on a swivel, looking for better opportunities.
Wasn't quite a rock and rye pass, I guess is what you're saying. It wasn't the top shelf.
No, nowhere near.
Shout out to our good friends over at Fago. As always, this is a rock and rye friendly booths. Ball sent ahead by Seb Harris. Speaking of former Golden Grizzlies. Knocked down in the middle of the field. Vicente Sai plays it down. And Urenga, who's been very busy in this first 8 minutes plus of action.
Busy, but he looks unsettled, Neil. There have been a couple times where he's had a misstep. He hasn't been in position to play the ball, I think, the way he'd want to. He's a young keeper. There are a lot of young players on this FC Indiana side, and they're being tested tonight. And City is going to press them and run at them. And you see the way they're set up right now. It's almost, you know, I'm not saying this because it would be offside, but, you know, there's the soccer strategy of 10 men behind the ball. It's almost 10 men even with the ball for City right now. 9 or 10 men up there trying to compact the field and test
Sean
that back
Lawson
line.
In some space, entering the 18, now retreating. But again, just all kinds of room for Bartel. I don't know if that was a shot attempt, whatever it was blocked. The next 9 minutes are presented by Strategic Staffing Solutions, the official sponsor of the S3 Beer Garden at Keyworth Stadium, and of course, the DCFC International Series. Top shelf international opposition rolling through here next month, in the month of July. It's going to be a good time down here at historic Keyworth Stadium. Make sure you get your tickets and be a part of it all. High-level teams coming in. Boy, a misstep defensively for FC Indiana, nearly a fatal giveaway.
And Edna Garcia, nice job to try to be in the open space up front.
Svelik plays it out wide, running the shot. The save is made by Urenga. Boy, Rafael Menzigen dangerous, but this time Urenga up to the task.
That's a looky what I found safe. If we get a look at that, Neil, that is Urenga staring down Rafa Menzigen and just being in the right place at the right time. Wait for it. Oops, there's my back foot. And looky, I got the cookie, and there's the save. And otherwise, it's 2-0 because Menzigen was in a great position. That is the friendliest boot of all for Urenga.
Menzigen had a couple goals against FC Indiana last weekend, a first-team All-Missouri Valley performer at Valpo. He had a goal that made SportsCenter, Scott Van Pelt SportsCenter, against Drake last season.
And he dressed down that Drake team. That was sick ball control. Uh-oh.
Here's Sean Lawson, sending out wide to the right. Tyler Stevens, the cross, inside the 6. It's popped out. And a foul will be called against Detroit City FC.
What an unselfish player Sean Lawson is. He was in there against 2 markers, could have turned and tried to create a shooting lane for himself. Instead, he lays it off on the wing to Stevens. Stevens' service wasn't the best, but unselfish play like that leads to goals. When it becomes about the team and about setting up the good pass for an open shot, you have good things happen. And Sean Lawson has proven, since he put on the Rouge and Gold, he is nothing if not the consummate team player. Number 9 could have taken that all to himself. He's had his scoring boots on this season, but he was trying to do what was best for the team there and laid it off.
That ball's played out wide to the left side. Here's Menzigen again. This time the FC Indiana back line rises to the challenge. Now they're on the attack up the right side. Ball popped up in the air.
You know the way
Swan goal on the attack, but the throw-in will go to Detroit City.
You know the way it looks, Neil, when City is in attack, it almost looks like they're setting up a 2-3-3-2. They're leaving their 2 center backs back, but the wing backs and the holding midfielder are just bombing forward right now.
FC Indiana getting forward the best they've done so far. That foul will go in the books against Garcia. So FC Indiana now with their best opportunity so far. Ulysses Hernandez in the vicinity, as is Vicente Sai. We will see who will actually take the kick.
See, here's the difference, Neil, between Uranga and Pena. Look at Pena there by his post, and you see him. He is putting his wall in exactly the place he wants. He's going to claim that half, and he's going to set his wall up, and then he's going to go all the way over to the other post and direct things. That's the way you defend against a set piece, and the wall does its job.
That ball fired into the wall by Hernandez. Now it's played out by Detroit City, but great camera work by the crew. They give you a really crisp look at that defensive setup. There was just do not pass go, do not collect $200 as far as that left side of the cage was concerned.
Absolutely, and that's because the wall knew what they were doing. They listened to Pena, they jumped when they were supposed to, they didn't create gaps, and they knew and trusted they had to take care of half the goal. Pena had the other half. That's the difference between that set piece and the set piece that led to City's opening goal.
Great slide tackle made by Felix Dawson. That stopped a DCFC counter that looked like it was picking up steam. Aiden Garcia through the middle of the field.
Nice 1-2, unselfish.
Sean Lawson, very good in traffic. Ball chipped ahead, Lawson on the other end. Sean Lawson making his move. Sends it to the top of the D. Stepping through is Mentz again, and it's poked away at the last moment.
You know, it's interesting to say, and I've just praised him for being unselfish, but City was trying to get a little too Harlem Globetrotter there. That was one too many passes. They had some shooting lanes. Take the shot. You're up 1-0 now. You'd like to think you'll run away with this one. You'll get a nice, easy 3 points. Wrap up 6 in a week against FC Indiana. Get some goals in the net first. There were a couple shots there that could have been taken. Get the good pass, but also don't be afraid to shoot, because there's a difference between a good pass and the perfect pass. And if you search too long for the perfect pass, sometimes you miss the opportunities.
More tweets coming in with the hashtag Watch City. Thomas Marks tweets at us, let's go DCFC, supporting from Germany. So good morning to you, sir. Appreciate you checking in. 15 minutes into this matchup, 1-0 City with the lead. That ball will be escorted over the goal line by Connor Brazil, and Fernando Pena will put the boot to it.
And watch the way Fernando Pena puts this ball in play. He did put the ball to it, but a lot of keepers, especially a lot of young keepers, will punt that ball downfield. Fernando Pena knows his players have the pace to play it out from the back when they can control it and not give it away and make the commentator eat his words. But Pena has the confidence in his players to be able to make the right decision and play out from the back. That leads to a lot more goals than keepers get credit for. That ability and that knowledge to make the right decision.
Riano swings it to the right side, and Ricardo Ruiz sends it up. We get a whistle and a stoppage. That foul will go against FC Indiana. And John, we made mention of the fact this FC Indiana team 0-5 coming into play, coming off that 11-0 loss. But make no mistake about it, John. Head coach Eric Castro and everybody involved with FC Indiana, they have a process that they're trying to work to and they're trying to stick to right now. And we had a good chat with him before the match here today, and he mentioned to us, he said, look, we have a lot of young guys, very young guys, as you can probably tell just by looking out there on the pitch. But there's a process. I mean, almost like the 76ers, I guess, in basketball trust the process. That's what FC Indiana's trying to do right now.
That's exactly what they're trying to do. You know, a lot of these NPSL teams, kids are trying to get looks for colleges, also get looks for the professional ranks because they're already playing in college. The FC Indiana model, with a lot of Puerto Rican and Caribbean players coming in, is to get noticed. They're just trying to get into the college game. And so they bring them over on two-year cycles, really. And the first year is about learning American soccer because, as Eric Castro says, as City step in nicely and defensively, the first year they have to get used to the fact that unlike the Caribbean game, contact does not equal a foul always, and you don't go flopping around the pitch. Once you get used to that, the second year of the process is about trying to score and win. Right now they're in year one of the two-year cycle.
Ball just out of the reach of Mentz again across the line. Some nifty footwork by Jakov Svelik. This is Svelik here in his first action. Some tasty moves so far here in the 18th minute. 1-0 the score. Northern Guard in full force here tonight. As always, Donnie tweets at us with the hashtag #WatchCity, says, watching from North Carolina. Every time I refresh my Twitter, there's another goal. That was fun on last Sunday, which it certainly was. But it appears as though, Mr. Krieger, FC Indiana has regrouped a bit, at least through the first 19 minutes or so.
Well, the young men have found their legs, really, and now they realize they can run with City, and you're going to have a couple of attacks. And also, City might, frankly, take their foot off the gas a little bit. When you have an easy time scoring the first goal and you've dominated possession, you are vulnerable on the counter, and we've seen a little bit of that from FC Indiana, and this is a good attack up the wing. It just lacked the finish, and that's the difference between FC Indiana right now and City.
The next 9 minutes are brought to you by Motor City Casino Hotel, the official casino hotel of Detroit's soccer team. Always a good time at Motor City Casino. I've never not once walked into Motor City Casino and not had a good time. Always a blast there.
It is one of Detroit's hot spots.
One time I even ran into you in the club up there.
Did
no,
you?
No, I'm just kidding.
No. Don't sell me out.
What you do on your own time is your own business.
Listen. And the Detroit casino team scene is hot, but I think you're right. Motor City Casino is the hottest.
Yeah. Ball headed away behind Detroit City. FC Indiana with some decent possession here, John, over the last 3 minutes. They've tilted the field just a little bit.
Yeah, City needs to put the clamps down a little bit, and the defensive shape is not what it needs to be. You know, for the first about 15 minutes of this match, the City back line was able to really be just two at the back, and then all of a sudden the defensive back four got out of shape, and it allowed for the gaps that led to FC Indiana through balls. And then all of a sudden you tilt the field. But there's one nice reversal, and all of a sudden City right back at it. It's a good regroup.
Brandon Bartel will settle it down. Sends it back to Tyler Stevens. Sean Lawson in some space. He's dangerous. Garcia touched through. Lawson was the target. Seb Harris knocks it down. Seb Harris, the captain's armband here tonight.
And that's a worthy nod from Ben Pierman, with the captain Dave Edwardson on the squad list but not on the field, and with some changes with no Cyrus Sadie and no Danny Deacon. Seb Harris, a loyal servant of Detroit City, and he gets the armband tonight. That forward ball could have been a little more dangerous. Seb Harris doing just enough to occupy Ulises Hernandez, and Fernando Pena easily able to collect.
Seb Harris, of course, a standout at Oakland University. Here comes an attack. Svelik sends it ahead, diving to the turf and making the grab. Zuranga again. But another dangerous opportunity for Detroit City. Svelik just couldn't quite catch up to it.
No, and you know what, Uranga, you can tell he's a young keeper because he looks so uncertain even coming out to collect that ball. You have to own your area. You have to claim it. You have to be forceful. And if you're going to come off your line, come off your line and go get the ball. All of a sudden, Uranga hadn't had his head up far enough to realize that City were making a run, and all of a sudden, you find a player running at you, and then he came and fell over the ball and made it harder than it had to be with Svelik in hot pursuit.
Stanley Sandoval wins a throw-in the meantime. Looking around is Felix Dawson for somewhere to go. Another big crowd on hand here tonight, as you can see in that shot. That ball sent ahead, and Fernando Pena had to be sharp coming off his line.
You know, that's the best ball we've seen from FC Indiana tonight. That was a searching ball with men on the back post, well placed. Pena did well to get in front of the FC Indiana players on the back post and claim that ball in the air. That's a veteran move, and that's a giveaway that City needs to not do That's being casual on the ball, and Ben Pierman won't like that one bit. I would be willing to bet if we got a shot at him on the sidelines, he'll have a scowl on his face after that one.
Here comes Mensingen ahead with Garcia. Sean Lawson wide to the right. Garcia punched up in the air and out of danger. Ariano, at least temporarily. DCFC will try the left side.
A lot of standing around and watching the ball right now from City. Make some runs, get into space.
That ball sent ahead. The offside flag is up. Looked like a good call by the official.
Neil, we've got viewers from all over the globe tonight. Stockholm, Sweden checking in to watch City. London, England checking in. Harriet Drudge, the social media director for International Football Magazine 442, watching us tonight as she gets ready for the World Cup.
Really, that's big time right there, 442.
That is big.
Uranga puts it up towards midfield. Pumped up in the air by Dawson. Flicked on, Seb Harris shuts it down. Goes to Garcia. Sean Lawson the target, but it's too far. Uranga struggles for a moment to pick it up off the turf.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Short hopped him a little bit, getting used to this slick Keyworth surface.
Stephen Kakala tweets at us with the hashtag WatchCity. Luckily, our tour bus has good Wi-Fi, supporting City from Seattle.
Interesting here. Match just gets a little bit chippy there for a moment. City needs to watch out for that. Remember, they drubbed FC Indiana 11-0, and now City's trying to quick kick this, and it's being brought back here, as I believe there's some blood on the City shirt, and yes, there is. Stevens with a little blood on the shirt, and he'll be patched up.
In the meantime, Aiden Garcia will get the party going again as we're just about 25 minutes in. 1-0 Detroit City with the lead. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Lindsey Pearson, our sideline reporter. We'll get the thoughts of head coach Ben Pierman at halftime. But so far, a very game FC Indiana team. They have certainly turned the tables after what we saw last weekend when Detroit City chalked up an 11-0 victory in the Hoosier State. Very different narrative here this evening.
It's a little tighter. It really is. And I think part of that is FC Indiana wanting to come out and fight for pride. Also, it's worth noting that sometimes the Keyworth effect can help your opponents. What a ball there. If he can get on the end of it, it's going to just run too far.
Boy, Stanley Sandoval had a look there just out of his reach.
Sandoval with a nice run down the wing. The Keyworth effect, sometimes it can get into the headspace of opponents. But sometimes, if you are, especially some of these players for FC Indiana, you come from Puerto Rico in Latin America, and you are playing in front of the largest crowd you'll play in front of all year, who are taunting you. Occasionally, that raises your game a little bit, and you can see a little bit of the spring in the FC Indiana step. This is a much more engaged crowd than they get down in Lafayette. And sometimes, as competitive athletes who, as you and I have oft discussed, are not playing for simply a look at college, but for their lives and for their families' economic futures as they try to get a foothold in the game. To be in front of an environment like this, you want to do well, and good play can come as a result.
There's some good play from Ulysses Hernandez. Sends it out wide to the left side. Ball sent ahead. City recovers defensively, but they will give it right back. Vicente Sai had it for a moment. Now here's Sean Lawson in Detroit City looking to counter, but FC Indiana gets back.
Nice job by Mensingen to stay onside. He ran into an offside position, and before the ball was off, the player with possession's foot came back onside to keep the attack moving forward if City wanted it. Now, as it turned out, City turns backward to try to get a little more control and move the ball up the pitch steadily to tilt the field into the attacking third, but Mensingen with a heads-up play.
Seb Harris will play it back to Fernando Pena. And the next 9 minutes of play are brought to you by Henry Ford Health System, the official team physicians of DCFC.
Don't forget to join us next Sunday, June 10th, when Detroit City FC hosts
Neil, this match has stagnated just a little bit. I think there's a lot of that to do with Detroit City. They seem to be running at about half speed at the moment.
In the meantime, we have more tweets coming in with the hashtag WatchCity. Brian C. tweets at us, watching the best broadcast in the MPSL in Manchester, Tennessee. Brian, you make us blush when you say those types of things. Darby Sagala tweets at us, 5 goals from former Muskegon Risers between Carroll and Shrimpton so far this season against FC Indiana. Our good friend NGS in Alamo City, Watch City's the only way to spend an unexpected Friday night off work. Oh, I bet Alamo City's feeling that then. Unexpected Friday night off work. Turn up, NGS in Alamo City. Let's go. Ball played ahead by Detroit City. Bartel drops it off, and now turning around is Moyes. Boy, it has cooled off a lot in the last 15 minutes.
Lows tonight about mid-50s here. Lows the last couple nights mid-70s, so you're going to feel that difference. And with the wind coming across the pitch at the moment, it's pretty good weather conditions for a football match. The players will like this. They won't deal with as many cramping issues, assuming they've properly hydrated. And if you want to, and City can turn it back on, you'll see the pace that they've come to rely on come to fruition in conditions like these.
Well, how about that play by Sean Lawson? Went high in the air off the head, dropped it to his feet, unable to keep the possession. But again, just a high level of skill with that guy, Sean Lawson.
Well, absolutely. He's a pro's pro as he continues to further his career. Brings a professional work ethic to a semi-pro division.
Svelik, first touch lets him down. Detroit City FC will pounce. Sean Lawson on the right side. Back up to Moyes. Moyes, the Northern Kentucky University product.
City's got to move the ball forward. They are playing a lot of cross, trying to reverse the field in midfield. But when you have opportunities to move forward, there's a foul is given there, and City will have a free kick about 40 yards from goal. City's doing an awful lot of moving across and a little bit of chippiness afterward, and the referee speaking. Stevens again. And I think it's going to be Garcia to take the free kick, maybe.
That's who's lining up. Rafael Menzigan as well. Tyler Stevens, I believe, has on Roddy Green's jersey now. He was the one that was bleeding, right?
You are absolutely right.
That's right. So, yeah, he's got on Roddy Green's number. Tyler Stevens dropping back as the last line of defense. That ball hops in to the keeper, Uranga, who makes the grab. Uranga sends it up towards the middle of the pitch. Good work by Felix Dawson. Felix Dawson's been pretty impressive here for FC Indiana. Brandon Bartel on the left side working against a couple of defenders. Stephen Carroll turning. But again, just as you talked about, John, there just seems to be a lot of that. Standing around, there's just not sharp movement anyway.
Now, you know what, again, I feel a little bit for Lindsey Pearson, because if I had to bet money, what I would say that Ben Pearman's assessment of the first half is going to be is we wasted a lot of chances and we didn't do enough on the ball. And they seem to be walking this one out and thinking that they can pull a sheet and flip the switch at any point and go on and walk this one. Let me tell you something, especially against a counter-attacking team like FC Indiana, you keep it at a one-goal game, you are playing with fire, and occasionally you get burned. City need to put the foot on the accelerator, get one or two before the half, go in with a multi-goal lead, and then choke the life out of the last 45 minutes. But what they're doing right now, moving the ball back and forth across the pitch and just being content to see the clock tick a little bit as they search for either perfection or possession, isn't the way Ben Pierman likes to play.
Here comes City again. This time it's threaded through on the right side. The cross, Sean Lawson sends it just wide. Boy, Svelik tried to put it on a tee for Sean Lawson. It will be a corner, however, for Detroit City.
And
Garcia walks over.
But look at a nice job there by the center backs to track back. And one of them goes toward the post, and one of them gets the man in the middle. And that's a great job to get a boot in there and deny Sean Lawson.
Here comes a corner from Garcia. Sends it towards the top of the 6. Lawson had an opportunity. It's popped high up in the air. Lawson turns again. Ball's loose in front. And a save was made by the defender. Garcia back with it. He crosses it. Nobody gets on the other end of it for Detroit City. But there's Stephen Carroll turning.
You know what? Nice job as the ball goes out of danger for FC Indiana by Uranga there. He made multiple saves and he stayed with the ball even when he was down to try to make his body big, and that's why he made the second save from almost the prone position to be able to keep this a one-goal game. For as critical as we have been of him early, Uranga very well positioned there and working with his defenders to close off the opportunities for City. That's a nice job by the young FC Indiana keeper.
There's no question about it, John. Uranga looked discombobulated a bit to start off this match, but make no mistake, he has risen his level of play as this first half has moved along. There's no question about it.
Sevi Harris so far forward for City right now as they try to press forward and press against that back line of FC Indiana. But for as far forward as Sevi was, I don't like the shape of City right now. They're kind of out of formation. We got defenders forward, midfielders behind them. It isn't the way we normally see City set up. And it perhaps has led, as the referee playing an unwitting accomplice for FC Indiana there, it perhaps is part of the reason that we've seen some of the disjointed passing and ball control, because City appear to be out of shape right now and not set up the way Ben Pierman would like to see on most NPSL nights.
Martel makes a run, but instead it pops free to Hernandez. Hernandez was looking to make a run. City recovers. Here's Brandon Bartel. Through the middle, Mensigan. Mensigan still on the move. Mensigan through, and the save is made once again by Uranga.
Rafa, si senor. What a move by Rafa Mensigan. I'd love to get a look at the way he was able to keep control. Look at this. He's got people pulling at his sweater, tugs back, tries to put it across the face of goal, and Uranga gets just enough on it. But Rafa Mensigan's first step absolutely gave the midfield and then back line of FC Indiana fits.
Corner sent short. Punched out of play. City will get the throw in. The train rolls by here at Keyworth Stadium. 37th minute, 1-0 the score. Cross sent into the box one more time. Stephen Carroll tried to knock it down and keep it dangerous. Seb Harris tries to find Garcia. Can he get on the end of it? He can. Garcia drops it off. Right foot shot is blocked out in front. Martel unable to pick his spot. And now here comes a counter up the left side. Making the move. Escobedo. Working 1-1. His attack is stymied. And the next 9 minutes are presented by Lyft, the official rideshare partner of DCFC. Be one of the first 500 supporters to ride Lyft to next Sunday's match and get $5 off your ride with the code DCFCAA. DCFCAA. AA gets you $5 off your lift ride to the next match. Make sure you support the partners that support Detroit City. Download that Lift app on your phone today.
I like what I've seen tonight out of Adnan Garcia. Neil, he's had a good work rate. He's been on the ball in key situations. He seems to have his head in the match. We haven't seen a whole lot of him this season for City, but he's acquitting himself well. He's been one of the more energetic players on the pitch in what has been a lackluster first half.
Sean Lawson flicks it on. Boy, again, a nifty touch from Sean Lawson. Through the middle, long shot, bounces on. Uranga makes the catch with little difficulty off the turf.
That is an interesting and somewhat speculative effort, given City's pattern so far tonight of being a little more clinical.
Sean Lawson's on the move. Lawson can't get over the keeper.
Oh,
they're going to call the handball, I believe.
And outside the box, that's going to be a red. That's an automatic red. He's gone. Keeper can't handle the box outside, the ball outside the box. There it is.
So the second consecutive match here in Keyworth for FC Indiana sees their keeper red carded. And FC Indiana will play the rest of this match down a man. Not to mention giving up a very dangerous free kick for Detroit City.
Got to know where you are. Assistant referee in front of the away fans, right on it. There it is. Absolutely. Normally you'd see the official try to give the keeper the benefit of the doubt, but wait and you'll see a little downward swipe at the ball. Not there, right there. The second touch was where he was able to control it off that arm, and he's done.
Uranga trying the sell job, saying it hit my chest, but as you saw in the replay, that was clearly on the left arm up in the bicep area.
And now the man who'll come on at keeper for FC Indiana was the man who got sent off last year, Kyle Bouguet.
And we'll see what impact this has on the match. This could be the spark Detroit City FC needed as we cross into the 41st minute. So Uranga catches the red card here in the 40th minute.
So Uranga done, and Bouguet will come on, and you know what? Credit where credit is due to the near side assistant referee. It wasn't the man in the middle who made that decision. It was his assistant who did the right thing and was even with the area, that got the flag out and made sure that decision was made. That's a good job of communication between the referee and his assistants to make that decision.
And now Kyle Bouguet will come in from Lincoln Land Community College. Bouguet being dropped right into the fire here.
Dangerous
FC
position
Indiana down
here.
to 10 men.
But see, Bouguet already better than Uranga at set pieces. Look at him again doing what Pena does. Right there on the post, he's going to set up that wall, and then at the last minute, he's going to step in. After giving City's players a look at an open goal, he's going to step in and take his position. That's already better placement on a set piece.
I have a feeling Seb Harris may be a target here. We'll see. Sebiel wide to the left. There's been a big slowdown here. We've been standing around for about 3 minutes. It's the head referee.
I think they were counting to make sure that FC Indiana were down to 10. And that Eric Castro had the, there we go.
They weren't, but now they are.
Numbers and facts are important, Neil.
Gerardo Escobedo comes off. And here we go. Stephen Carroll, Aiden Garcia standing over it. Seb Harris is out wide on the left. Mensigan trotting in to take up his post. Here we go. That shot right into the wall. Detroit City FC will earn a corner.
And you know what? That's immediately better from the wall. And I think it's because they were better positioned by Bouguet. They knew what they had to do, and they jumped in unison that time. A much better setup.
So Garcia will serve it again. Corner skips up. It's popped over the goal line, so disappointing service that time. I think Aiden Garcia would be the first one to tell you.
I would agree. It looked a little bit like one of your wedge shots. A little check up next to the pin off that Keyworth surface. Neil Rule, facts, probably the best golfer associated with Detroit City Football Club.
All right, I was going to see where you're going to go with that one. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that title.
How many years in a row have you won the DCFC golf outing?
Pretty much every year it's been in existence. You know, I don't keep track of those types of things. I only have 2 trophies. Last year it was sunny and about 78 degrees. The wind was a little out of the west at 9 miles an hour. But I don't keep too much track of it, you know.
Not at all. Nope. How many trophies you have on your mantelpiece?
Yeah, well, there's 1 or 2. I'm a Cinderella story. There's no question.
The slipper fits fine, my friend. Or the spike golf shoe.
There's Tyler Stevens playing it up towards the left side. Detroit City FC playing a man up. Tyler Stevens, John, we see the immediate impact of that. Tyler Stevens far up now ahead. He was the safety valve before, now he's attacking.
Yeah, no, the safety valve is now the 2 center backs. The other 9 of them are going to be in that attacking half all night long.
Sharks will be circling. Svelik drops it off. Cross popped up in the air. Will be a corner. And we will be saying that a lot the rest of the way here tonight. Corner, yeah. Detroit City.
It is now all hands to the pumps for FC Indiana to keep it a 1-goal game and then hope you can score on the counter to earn the draw.
Mensigan this time will serve it.
Rafa has the ability and a good bending ball if he catches it right.
Mensigan lining up the in-swinger. We are now in extra time here in the first half.
Back post empty, look out.
Post headed in the air, and it's in. Sean Lawson or Stephen Carroll, your choice. 2-0 City.
What a way for City to take advantage of some absolute shambolic defending by FC Indiana. They had men on both posts, and then all of a sudden, as Mensigan started his run-up, FC Indiana ran all over the place. And you had a couple of free runs. Look at how open City's players are. All alone in the air. And Lawson, again, puts it in the old onion bag. But that goal was made entirely possible by the fact that the man who was supposed to know exactly where Stephen Carroll was lost sight of a warrior in the air, and Carroll made him pay. He's got a goal and a helper.
And there's another one. Rafael Mensigan, I believe, on that left side, picks the upper right-hand corner. 3-0 City.
There's Sean Lawson with great control. Keeps it, a little touch, silky feed for Rafa, and a smooth finish.
Off the volley by Mensigan. He picked the corner.
Couldn't have placed it any better, Neil.
And business is picking up here in Keyworth. 2 goals in about 15 seconds. Has really changed the narrative. If you're FC Indiana, you just want that whistle to sound and get to the locker room.
You know, Lindsey Pearson's job at our halftime interview
just got a lot easier.
Whole lot easier.
There's a look at Ben Pierman in his 6th season, also an assistant coach at Michigan State during his playing days. At Michigan State, won 2 Big Ten titles, went to 3 NCAA tournaments. Accomplished player, accomplished coach.
And he's about to, barring an unforeseen collapse, pick up win number 43 in the NPSL against just 13 defeats and 13 draws.
Detroit City FC, you figure there's going to be a lot of stoppage time. We had about a 3-minute delay when the red card was issued. Here's Sean Lawson with Tyler Stevens up ahead. Lawson to the middle, finds Bartel. Bartel's shot, and a diving stop made by Bouguet. And the whistle sounds, and the first 45 minutes plus are in the books. Detroit City FC comes to life in stoppage time, tacks 2 on. They have a 3-0 lead.
Well, the party has started well and truly here at Keyworth. Ben Pierman's side 3 to the good now. That's exactly what he will have wanted. I don't think he will have expected that the 3 goals came about in the way that they did, but he'll certainly take it. And now for City, it's all about keeping the momentum going, because frankly, Neil, you've got to go in continuing the scoring, continuing the good pace of play, because we discovered last Friday night here at Keyworth that FC Columbus is for real. And you've got to go down to Grandview on Sunday, where it is not going to be a picnic on a Sunday afternoon. And so I think this entire second half, if I had to put money now on what Ben Pierman was going to tell Lindsey Pearson, he's going to talk about the fact that City waited too long at the half to get going. We're lucky to be up a man, and now need to work on their intensity and ball control and fundamentals in the second half.
Our sideline reporter Lindsey Pearson standing by with the head coach Ben Pierman.
Indiana on Sunday. What's been the difference this first half here?
5 goals in the first half?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, you know, they brought some better players. They're tighter. They're more organized. I mean, it's hard to score goals. We kept the ball pretty well. We moved the ball well. We created some chances. Had 2 late goals. So, you know, but with that being said, they've pressed us really well here. That our angles building out of the back's got to be way better. So last game they sat way back. This game they're pressing high. We have to break their lines of pressure instead of just settling for long balls down the field.
And what adjustments will you make in the second half?
We'll get Santiago on at halftime at center back. He's a very good passer. That should help building out. And then, you know, I think we've got to do a better job when we check into midfield, turning and breaking those lines of pressure. Right now, everything's back. We take it back. We're not breaking layers there. So we got to be more diligent doing that. But with that being said, you know, we just got to keep going a little bit.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much, Lindsey. Appreciate it. 3-0 the score here. Detroit City FC with the lead. After FC Indiana keeper Sebastian Uranga was sent off in the 40th minute with a red card, the floodgates have opened just a little bit. So we'll take a halftime break, get you the halftime festivities. Brought to you by Henry Ford. 3-0, City with the lead here at halftime. We'll be right back with more. This is Detroit City FC Soccer. Keyworth Stadium, 3-0 the score. Detroit City FC with the lead as we get ready for the second half of action. The halftime show brought to you by the Henry Ford Health System. Let's take a look at the highlights through the first 45 minutes of play. And John, some stagnant pieces of that first half for Detroit City FC, but at the end, they turned up the heat.
They did indeed, and it all started when, of course, Rafa Mensingen got things going and fizzed things across the face of goal. And a couple of searching balls early on that tested the keeper Uranga, but City really lacked the clinical finish. A foul there on Mensingen set up Stephen Carroll's free kick, and that was goal number 1, as Uranga really didn't set up the ball very well, didn't jump in unison, and he didn't claim his half of things. But then City stagnated for a little bit until Sean Lawson comes in. There's the handling outside the box. That's a red card in any aspect of the game, and Uranga is given his walking papers. He goes off, And Bouguet comes on, a corner, and look at this. Stephen Carroll wins the ball in the air, and Sean Lawson does what Sean Lawson does best. That gives City a second goal, and then look at this silky finish from Rafa Mensinger. That's a wonderful placement and a nice touch from Sean Lawson. City 3 goals to the good, clearly making the best of the man advantage, well in control at the break.
And there you see justified result, given the nature of the stats. 10 shots on goal for Detroit City FC. And of course, FC Indiana playing with the 10 men, a substitution for Detroit City to start the second half. Santiago Amigo will check in for head coach Ben Pearman. So John, what changes, if any? Obviously Santiago Amigo into the match, and we heard the interview with Lindsey Pearson and Ben Pearman really echoing coach's sentiment. He wants to turn and move with the ball. There's no doubt about it. The next 9 minutes of play are brought to you by Fago, the official pop of Detroit City FC. What changes do you expect, John?
I want to see, I think you're going to see City much more direct on the ball. You're not going to see as much of the stagnation in midfield. My guess is that the last 15 minutes was all Ben Pearman telling the boys to press, press, press. He wants them up, he wants them moving. He wants the play out from the back to be cleaner, because against better opponents, it's going to have to be. And you can already see the way City's setting up with Bartel moving forward and the runs down both wings. They're doing what Pearman wants, and it's a much more aggressive start here to the second half.
Here's Detroit City with the possession as Brandon Bartel sends it ahead. Connor Brazil into the box. It's taken away by FC Indiana, but just 1 minute into the second half, you can already see a different set of directives for this DCFC squad here coming out of the locker room.
You know, it's dangerous to say because you don't want to imply that teams don't care at any point, but City looks like they're in it to care at the moment. They're not just content to stagnate the ball around midfield. They're doing something with it, looking to set up the next pass, looking to make the next play instead of just bailing out and resetting. You have players that are making runs on both sides, a better shape in midfield, and better pressure on the ball. This is exactly what Ben Pearman will have wanted to see coming out of the locker room.
Ulises Hernandez has it taken away. Svelik touched it down. Now FC Indiana looking to get on the move.
See, look at that, stepping inside and drawing the foul.
Right now it's time for your weekly trivia presented by Fago. This week's question: how many goals does Sean Lawson have across all competitions so far in 2018? Here's a hint: many. Long ball served in towards Sean Lawson. That answer I thought was going to change there. But tweet us your answers or your guesses with the hashtag #WatchCity.
By the way, Sean Lawson with the strong to quite strong hair game. Take a look at that cut, Neil.
His whole career, his lettuce game has been strong to quite strong. He's an innovator. Big fan of the throwback too. Throwback gear, throwback hats, throwback jerseys. Had a strong New Jersey Nets winter hat that I enjoyed. Corner served up towards the back post. Nobody home on the other end. Goal kick for FC Indiana.
You know what, and I think that was just trying to account for some of the wind. It's freshened a little bit here at Keyworth. You put it too high and it held up and got carried away by the breeze.
DCFC with the challenge defensively. More tweets coming in with the hashtag #WatchCity. Philip Zhang tweets at us: poolside in Berkeley, spent the day on Belle Isle at the Detroit Grand Prix. Seen more DCFC apparel than IndyCar apparel. That's pretty good.
And by the way, Tony Weatherly tweets in, wants us to say hello and give a shout out to Northern Guard supporter Mary, who spent the last few days on a 200-kilometer walk in Europe, representing City all the way. Neil, that's about 200 kilometers more than I like to walk in situations like that. I don't know that I have that kind of stamina going forward, so If you walk, isn't there the chant among the Northern Guard? I'd walk. They kind of co-opt the proclaimers. I would walk 500 miles. Well, 500 miles, 200 kilometers to watch City. Sure, we get it. Congratulations.
Settling the ball down across midfield is Mensigan. Bartel wide to the left side. Here's Sean Lawson with some space. Lawson, the chip across. Played back up. Bartel on the move, trying to settle it down. It's poked away. Moyes will go to work. His cross into the box almost got through to Sean Lawson.
You know what? Credit where credit is due to one of the midfielders for City tracking forward, and that's going to be a foul on City. Interesting. I'd like to look at that replay again. That's an interesting decision at first glance. And now FC Indiana gets the pressure off just a little bit, but just before that on that attack, City did a good job to keep that play alive, to provide service into the area.
Riano along that far touch line. Pop back up towards the middle. Sean Lawson, that first touch never lets him down.
And he can turn with it as well.
Schmelik taken down, the foul is called.
That's the thing that's so special about Lawson's first touch, Neil, is that he can control it and turn to take the next step and not lose that control. So many times on an artificial surface, you'll put it down, but then it'll run away from you as you try to turn into a usable position. And with Sean Lawson, that doesn't happen.
Lawson, the game-winning goal in the 78th minute at Chattanooga, the game-winning goal last week against Columbus, a world-class goal against FC Cincinnati in the U.S. Open Cup. There's Aiden Garcia on the free kick. Lots of options for Garcia. Plays it wide to the right. Ball sent over the top of the crossbar.
That was not supposed to be what happened right there. That was supposed to be a cross back into the box, and he absolutely fluffed his lines.
Let's get you the answer to our Fago Weekly Trivia. The question, how many goals does Sean Lawson have across all competitions so far in 2018? NGS Harvey Yard tweeted the right answer if we would have asked this before today's match. But since he tacked one on today, he now has 6. So 6 goals for Sean Lawson, as steady as they come. That ball sent back to Brazil. That was a long kick. Mentz again. Reverses the field. Of course, FC Indiana playing with 10 men. Their keeper was sent off in the 40th minute. Brazil just out of the reach of Mensigan.
Nice overlap there. Brazil, Mensigan coming out wide, and Brazil's touch just a little too heavy, but Rafa Mensigan, I really like the way this kid moves without the ball. I enjoy what he does with the ball. That finish on City's third goal was all world. But we talked about this last week, and it bears repeating, and I'm going to keep repeating it while he keeps doing it. You know, sometimes in soccer, you got to run to where the ball will be as opposed to where the ball is. And Rafa Mensigan does a good job of reading the situation and getting himself in space to be an option. And when he has the ball, he does a good job of being just physical enough to keep the space. And look at the look on his face there in that shot you just saw. Those eyes are intense. He never stops thinking whether he has the ball or not. And you can't see it on your screen, but Mensigan is backed off his defender, is in an acre space on the near side. And then, as his defenders close him down, he runs away from 2 markers.
Sean Lawson nearly turns with it. Has it inside the 18. He's taken down from behind, and the penalty will be awarded.
Good decision by the referee. Absolutely 155% a penalty. Lawson had an opportunity to play the ball, was there, was taken down from behind. This is an easy call. If he doesn't get taken down, he has established that pivot foot inside the byline to be able to pivot that ball back into play. There are a lot of referees that would not have the temerity to give that decision. That's a good one. Is this going to be Sebi Harris to take?
It will be Seb Harris.
Windmill special?
To stand over the penalty here in the 55th minute. As the official steps off the spot. Seb Harris stands over it. Can Sebi deliver? Of course, Seb Harris, 4-0 City.
I told you we'd get the windmill. That's a cool, clinical, veteran finish. Run-up was strong. Sebi finished strong, waited for the keeper to commit first, and away you go.
Sebi off to celebrate with the people here at Keyworth. The former Golden Grizzly does it again. Detroit City FC has seized control officially.
It's party time on a Friday night here in Hamtramck. That's how you know that your manager has confidence in your ability to wrap up a game, by the way. That was a great finish by Harris. I have to believe that in a tighter game, you might have seen Sean Lawson standing over that ball. But up 3-0, Sebi Harris comes out and gets a well-earned trip to the Northern Guard.
As the smoke pours out of the Northern Guard's supporter section. The next 9 minutes of play are brought to you by Level 1 Bank. At every home match, Level 1 hosts a different small business in the new DCFC Level 1 VIP section. So they're taking it in the Level 1 VIP section here tonight. And Detroit City FC smells blood in the water. Played out by FC Indiana. And there's a look at what's going down over in the Level 1 VIP section area. Liverpool FC International Academy hanging out. Lots of red down there. Looks good, John. Don't you agree?
You know, with the way they're helping grow the game, with that particular part of Liverpool FC, I stand in steadfast agreement with you, my friend.
George Chamakoff will come into the match. I know Andy Wagstaff somewhere in attendance tonight with all the Liverpool folks, the head coach at Saginaw Valley. Sad I haven't had a chance to catch up with Wags tonight. That's my guy, man.
You know, it must be nice for you as a Liverpool supporter to be able to call games with a keeper that can actually stop shots.
They'll fix that. They'll fix that in the transfer market. That ball off the volley sent over top of the cage. But as you said, John, things opening up right now for Detroit City FC.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you've got the 4-goal lead with half an hour to go. Now it becomes fun. Now, you're sitting here and you're saying, great, City's in control. They're going to take 3 points. Happy, happy, fun time. That's partially true. The other part of this, partner, and what we have to watch, the key to watch over the next 30 minutes is whether or not City keep up the intensity. Because you are now making the statement that you are going to carry over into an important away fixture at FC Columbus. That is going to be, as we found out last Friday rather, a little bit of a tougher stroll than we originally thought when this season began. So now you got your 4 goals, 3 points in the bag, unless a meteor comes down and strikes the middle of Keyworth Stadium. But now it's all about continuing to clinically dismantle the team and play the way you need to. Look at Mensingen with that ball, and just a little too heavy, but a nice turn there by Rafa to send it forward on the wing, and a thumbs up by Aden Garcia to recognize the ball and the effort. Now City needs to keep their shape. 5, 6, 7 goals. The goals are less important than the way that they play.
Another substitution coming on. Trevor Amon will check into the match for Detroit City FC. So Ben Pierman putting some options out there. Kyle Bouguet will send it skyward. 4-0. City has the lead. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. And a much happier Keyworth Stadium here in the second half, as they begin to stretch things just a bit. FC Indiana trying to build up some possession. Ball swung out wide to the right side. And Swangle plays it across over the touchline. And Swangle will put it back in play. Let's take a look at the upcoming matches for Detroit City FC. As my partner was just talking about, DCFC at FC Columbus next Friday. That'll be June 8th, 7 p.m. kick, as Dave Edwardson makes his way onto the pitch. DCFC will then take on AFC Ann Arbor on Sunday, June 10th, right here at Keyworth. 5 p.m. the opening kick. I have a suspicion that's going to be a fun one against Ann Arbor on Sunday.
That's fitting to be a good time, is what that's going to be.
Yep. This place will be rocking. And make no mistake, John, there will be a lot on the line.
Well, absolutely. FC Ann Arbor got the 3 points last time. But the last time they were on this pitch, AFC Ann Arbor, something about a left foot and an of course and all the rest of that. So City need to return the favor, because if you are AFC Ann Arbor at that point, if City can do the business against FC Columbus and put some pressure on, continue to get the maximum points in the standings, then you start looking over your shoulder if you're AFC Ann Arbor. And then the pressure goes on the leaders as City becomes that kind of chasing pack of wolves, so to speak, trying to run them down. And I think it's going to be a highly charged atmosphere, and the Northern Guard will bring it strong and loud.
We got a message to pass along on the broadcast too. Our crew member here, Orlando, his son Renato, is watching the match tonight. Renato, if you're watching, Dad says, hey, it's time to go to bed. You were supposed to go to bed at halftime. So if you're still up right now, get your butt in bed, kid. Dad's giving me the thumbs up. Message delivered. Hey, Orlando, I did my share, bro. I did everything I could do. If he's not going to get in bed now, there's no control on that kid. He should hang out with my son, is what he should do.
Listen to your Uncle Neil. By the way, while we have a minute, Neil, I want to talk about the scarves that you saw us wearing during our show open tonight. Those scarves in honor of the Pride Raiser campaign. Tonight, the first City match in June. As City comes forward, there's a shot, and what a finish!
That shot finds the back of the net. Another goal for City, make it a nickel. It's 5-0.
Wow. A run down the wing and a rocket for a City high five. That came from nothing. Little 1-2 touch. Step around the defender underneath the bar.
Trevor Almond does the deed and picture perfect shot. And the horses are out of the barn here at Keyworth. 5-0, City with the lead.
There is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that the FC Indiana keeper Kyle Bouguet could do. Almond with a world-class run gets one touch on a give and go on the wing, and look, here they come again. City pouring forward in the smoke.
Turning in the corner, Tyler Stevens has it played out. The next 9 minutes are brought to you by Lyft. That ball sent up towards the corner of the 18 and over the line. Every time you ride with Lyft, you have the option to round up your fare to the nearest dollar and donate the change to a charity of your choice. This season, Detroit City FC is matching all donations made through Roundup and donate on rides that end at Keyworth Stadium. So make sure you round up and donate, and Detroit City FC will match all the donations. Great partnership with Lyft. Some of these tremendous programs that have been installed. Come down here, be a part of the fun, and make sure you take Lyft when you do it. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you, 65th minute. It's all Detroit City now, 5-0, they have the lead.
We were talking about it earlier, and then Amon decided he wanted to go ahead and run riot. This is the first city match in the month of June, and all across the country, supporters groups are a part of the Pride Raiser LGBT fundraising campaign. Supporters groups choosing independent LGBT rights and advocacy organizations in their hometowns around the country. And goals from those clubs tonight have so far raised over $3,100 for LGBT causes here as we begin Pride Month. And Detroit City FC, with the help, by the way, of some of its match day sponsors, has pledged through the Northern Guard over $700 for every city goal scored this month. That's why we were wearing the Pride Raiser scarves in the open. If you are a supporter of clubs around the nation, see if your club is involved in Pride Raiser. The website, and to make a pledge, is prideraiser.org.
Stepping through. Ball poked away. Doing some work in the box as Brogan shrimped in, and that shot just misses the left post.
Neil, there comes a point when every opponent breaks, and I think we have reached that point with FC Indiana. They gave up 11 last week, 5 now, and now City are bombing forward. And look at that, just a little heave of the shoulders by Bouguet. When you see body language like that from a keeper, you know you can kind of pack in the tent.
So Bouguet will put the leather to it.
Takes plenty of time.
Bouguet sends it towards the middle of the pitch. So FC Indiana, who has yet to score a goal in the NPSL season, still looking to get on the board for head coach Eric Castro, and he talked about it. This was going to be a process. There's a look at Eric Castro. So we're going to take our lumps, no doubt about it, but we're trying to build it. There's George Chamakoff, Edwardson, Stevens, taken away nicely. Stanley Sandoval.
And how nice is it, Neil, to see Dave Edwardson on the pitch tonight? The club captain back out there, and he's got the armband upon coming onto the pitch. He worked hard to get back and get fit to be a part of this club again. Was one of the first players to arrive here. Was with us on soccer prom night, modeling the new kits. Proud, tuned man. And it's nice to see 18 out there where he belongs.
Just an all-around good cat, too. Just a good cat to have a conversation with. Love talking to Dave Edwardson. Here's Connor Brazil, plays college soccer at Louisville. Ball sent ahead. That was actually a misplay by Chris Korva. And that will result in another corner for Detroit City.
And right before the corner, a substitution about ready to come on for FC Indiana. That substitution, Lorento Baez Escudero. If they will allow the sub, it looks like they're going to let City take the corner first. Which, by the way, defensively is better for FC Indiana. You never really want to sub before a defensive corner. You run the risk of losing markers.
Jakob Svelik will put the corner in. Curls it. Loose at the top of the D. Edwardson steps through, and it's played away at just the last moment. Let's see if we can get the captain, Dave Edwardson, one.
Oh, what a touch there. Amon to keep it in play.
Svelik. Now it's played to the top of the D. Right-footed shot. The save is made by the keeper, Bouguet. Trevor Amon, very dangerous again. There's a takeaway. Stepping across, now halting and dropping it back.
Shrimpton trying to do something there. Nice footwork and smart decision to send it out toward the halfway line and reset. And look at the space on the near side wing.
Brazil sends it up towards the cage. Boy, Brazil trying to tuck it in that left corner, almost did.
It hung up in the breeze a little bit, blew back toward the post. And Bouguet had to go a little further in the air than I think he would have liked to.
Ball rolled out to Corva.
These are the fun ones for the fans, Neil. Look at that touch.
Chamakov tried to cross it. But again, we're seeing some magic from Jakub Svelik. Chamakov. Scissoring, ball's poked away. Nice tackle by the defender, got all ball.
That's exactly. Chamakov wanted the penalty, nothing doing. That's a great step in front and a great clean physical tackle. George took the worst of it, but that's a good decision by the referee.
Chris Corva making the fundamentally sound play. Here comes the corner again. Popped up in the air by the back line of FC Indiana. And John, the field right now, very tilted. FC Indiana playing with 10 men. Just trying to hang on and get out of here.
Yeah, this is all about City just having a little bit of fun. And FC Indiana's trying to keep more goals off the scoreboard.
Dropped off, trickled into the cage, Shrimpton.
That's 4 goals in his last, say, 20 minutes for Brogan Shrimpton. Shooting Shrimp, scoring Shrimp, passing Shrimp, hat trick Shrimp. Brogan Shrimpton does it again.
Here comes City one more time, trying to get the extra point. Svelik working one-on-one, Brazil. Svelik. Cross is played away. The next 9 minutes of play are presented by Detroit City Fieldhouse, Detroit's new indoor athletic facility, opening September 2018. Leagues are forming right now. Check out DebtCityFC.com/fieldhouse for more info. Sign up for a league, folks. The premier athletic facility in the city of Detroit. The leagues are forming now. Be a part of it. Edwardson, right foot! The captain!
Look at how much it means to all of them, Neil. That's all 11 of them. And 3,000 of their closest friends in the Northern Guard. You have any doubt of how much that man loves this club and how much they love him right back?
Edwardson.
Oh, captain, my captain indeed.
Tucks it inside the left post. Clinical finish by Edwardson. excited, as are the Northern Guard. 7-0 City.
Let's update that Pride Raiser total. City charging up a nice $4,900 bill in their first match of the 2018 Pride Raiser campaign. Do I hear $5 grand?
Let's see. On the right side. Across. Stepping through. Left foot shot. The save is made. Svelik made a bid.
He didn't get all of it, Neil.
No.
If he had gotten his full boot behind that, it is by far and away going in the opposite side of the net. He scuffed it a little bit, or it would have been 8.
City fans, take your next experience at Keyworth Stadium to the next level by upgrading to the DFCU Financial Lounge. For complimentary food and drinks and on-field seating, go to tickets.detcityfc.com. Best value in all of sports, best place to watch a match or a game in all of sports in the city. That's a fact, not opinion. Check it out.
You know, my lovely fiance Abby and her mom were down here last week for that FC Columbus game. They watched from the DFCU lounge. And after 90 minutes, my future mother-in-law's response, can we come back? It was a fun time had by all.
When you watch a match from there, you're sad when it's over. You want it to go on forever.
Very sad. You are right. It is great. Look at Edwardson. He doesn't care they're up 7-0. Dave Edwardson is going at full tilt right now, and City right back at it.
Here comes City again. See, Indiana will play it away. Lorenz Baez Escudero played it out. We're in the 76th minute, and it's party time here at historic Keyworth Stadium as the Tetris breaks out with a Northern Guard. And we'll bring it to you right now. Think they're having fun here tonight, folks? Pass threaded through, played away at the last moment.
Neil, everybody's having fun tonight.
They are. 78th minute, 7-0 Detroit City. Ball played towards the middle. Shrimpton was the target, taken away from him. Far side, the foul will be called. Trevor Amon, the guilty party.
By the way,
Indiana will restart it.
You have told us on Twitter you are very appreciative of the work of our crew. And Neil, I know that I join you in thanking the men and women behind the scenes on this Watch City crew. They are led tonight by producer Max Hinson. And they have given you some great shots and great replays all night. Neil and I get a lot of the plaudits, but we work with some of the best in the business, and they enjoy bringing City into your homes.
Played away by Bouguet. More tweets coming in with the hashtag Watch City. Watching Detroit City FC from Portland, Oregon with a nice PNW IPA. I have one for you the next time I'm in Detroit. Neil Rule, I'll trade you some Faygo Rock and Rye. Well, DW from Detroit, my Faygo Rock and Rye is not for sale or trade. That foul will be called.
And that booking will be given.
Absolutely it will. Our good friend Kilted Ken checking in, says I'm at work because my boss had a baby this week and I had to miss the game, but I'm watching along. Let's keep pouring it on, boys. Welcome to the world, Peyton. Hashtag Watch City.
By the way,
let's just say too, everyone's a big fan of the Seb Harris windmills. We get another look at the foul.
that's a cynical challenge. And on another night, could have been more than yellow, by the way. By the way, the other Butcher brother, Gene, checking in. He had to work tonight. Two of the three founders of the Northern Guard checking in. Gene at the station house.
Headed up, headed on the line. It was loose for a second. Shrimpton made a bid for another one.
Wow. That was all a training ground little set piece off the free kick. Look at the dedicated side ball and a nice head in with space, and Shrimpton did what you're supposed to do. Had it down toward the keeper, make him reach to make a save, and Bouguet did just enough.
Jake Kepsel tweets at us, says, Neil, was that Tetris break really just so you and John Krieger could take a Fago break? Of course. Hashtag Watch City. Yeah, something along those lines, Jason. We'll just say it like that. Ball played up towards midfield, 80 minutes in to this one. It's a decided issue.
Look at
Svelik. Svelik turns. Svelik trying to get through.
I think Svelik was of two minds there. He went through and then saw Brogan Shrimpton with him and couldn't decide whether he wanted to try to muscle through that or whether he wanted to leave it off, and it ran away from him.
How about that shot here in Hamtramck? Beautiful night. Even made more beautiful by the scoreline for Detroit City FC fans. Those guys have had a good time. Stephen Keener tweets in, who knew you could have so much fun while watching from home? Watching Detroit City FC from Long Island, New York. Hashtag Watch City. There's the Liverpool Academy. How sharp are those jerseys right there?
They're very sharp. There are nicer ones. There are white ones with a little cockerel on the chest. But those are pretty decent.
Those usually have the month of May off. Corner sent in. Shrimpton puts it up in the air. Dave Edwardson, puts it up in the air. The next 9 minutes are presented by Rip It Energy, the official energy drink of Detroit City FC. And there is the captain, Dave Edwardson. He's gotten on the score sheet as he's worked his way back from injury. Talk about a guy that bleeds for this club. That is him. Aman!
Oh, come on. How pretty was that, Neil Roll? Cal Bouguet's looking at that going, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Your defender gives it away and it's a 3-on-0. Come on, Aman. And that's 8.
And the cakes are on the griddle here at Keyworth. Jake Rubel on the assist.
Well, that's 5,600 plus for Pride Razor from here in Detroit tonight. I believe the chant from the Northern Guard is the somewhat inhospitable "we want 10." Well, Brogan Shrimpton did have a hat trick inside the final 10 minutes in Indiana on Sunday.
Here comes the attack on the left side. Rudell on the move. Rudell misfires. Detroit City FC will have to regroup out at midfield. Ball headed up in the air by Elliot Bentley. Check that. It was Brogan Shrimpton. It's a decided issue here tonight at Keyworth. And now for the official attendance brought to you by Rip It Energy. Tonight's official attendance, 5,451 here tonight on a beautiful night where a party's broken out. It's always a party, but especially tonight. That ball headed up. Oh, what a save made by the keeper, Kyle Bouquet. That could be Sports Center worthy, folks. Peep this save.
Oh, wow. That's all world, Neil. Either way, it's either an all-world finish on the chip off the head for the goal, or it's Kyle Bouquet getting a hand from the city supporters who know how rough he's had it. And he still has his head in the game, and what a save.
Amon to serve the corner. Sends it short. Tyler Stevens has it. Fernando Pena wants to jump up in that attack so bad.
You can almost tell, can't you?
That's what I love about Pena, though. He's a guy, he wants to keep it moving.
Look at that. And his head, he's sitting there at the top of his area, telling his midfielders with an 8-0 lead, push it forward. Let's go. He hasn't stopped going. He's that intense a competitor. And City responds, and they are trying to move the ball forward. That's an inadvertent pass through on the nutmeg with Edwardson.
Seb Harris plays it up towards the right side. Sebi will get it back. He's got a goal here tonight.
Nice reversal there.
Connor Brazil has his pass sent over the touchline. Santiago Amigo, 2017 NAI Honorable Mention All-American, the first in program history at Lawrence Tech. Lawrence Tech, they're putting it together over there.
And that entire athletic program is growing. And by the way, they're also ardent partners of City. City uses their space for training at times. They have been on board the City train from the start. Lawrence Tech doing an awful lot to give people in this area the opportunity for good athletic competition while at the non-NCAA level.
Is that a strobe light over there? In the
that is. I always get worried when I see the strobes. Those aren't always healthy for some folks, but it is a full-on party here at Keyworth.
Here comes Connor Brazil, trying to send it through. He was fouled from behind.
I guess the club's going up on a Friday with the strobe light.
Sarah Alexis Miller tweets at us, "Holy wow, City. I'm watching City in Portland. Love all the goals for Pride Racer, huh, Neil Rule?" I do.
And a lot of good money raised for some very good causes tonight. The Ruth Ellis House here in Detroit, the beneficiary of the Pride campaign. And Ruth Ellis, who has been a charity partner of Detroit City for some time, was actually the organization one year that was featured on the charity jerseys. Provides safe housing and counseling for LGBT youths who are dealing with family difficulties or have been perhaps asked to leave families that can't handle that situation. And certainly the Ruth Ellis Center takes them in, gives them a good home, and helps them to be comfortable in themselves. Great organization.
Which is great
here in Detroit.
Because nobody should have to live like that.
Not at all.
Nobody should, and it's great that there's people there to help them.
Yep. And the Northern Guard has partnered with them as well throughout most of their existence.
Tyler Stevens stepping through. Ball's loose in the 18. Long shot will go wide of the frame. Certainly no room in the world for hate, John.
No.
There's no question about that.
Not in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? Anytime I think about the hate that is in this world, I look across at that group of individuals. They get some criticism around the league. But I'll tell you what, I've been around them for 3 seasons now. You've been around them for longer. And I have never known a community of people that is more accepting and open and committed to love each other and this club. And it's a good way to start Pride Raiser Month and Pride Month here at DCFC. Then an 8th spot, raising a lot of good money for Ruth Ellis.
Over $5,600 just tonight. We're in the 90th minute. Detroit City FC with the 3 points in hand.
You know what, partner, my final verdict here as City comes forward, and Chamakov will send it in. My final verdict here is second half much more clinical than the first. And a good way for City to get ready in training for a busy weekend next weekend, an important weekend next weekend.
Well, let's be honest, John, when we talk about what's going on next weekend. That match against AFC Ann Arbor on Sunday here at Keyworth could very well tell the story. It could tell the story for the entire table.
Oh, hold on here, getting chippy.
As the whistle sounds. And the match is over, and Detroit City FC with a commanding 8-0 victory over FC Indiana.
Huge weekend coming up, but job done this weekend. And you know, you and I have talked about for our entire time as a broadcast pair how City's bugaboo at times has been playing down to opponents that they should beat easily, somehow making a game out of something that shouldn't be one. And over the last 2 matches, they've scored 19 goals. 19 of them. But more important than the number is the fashion and the way that in the second half of this game, they could have taken the foot off the gas. They could have relaxed. They were up 4-0. 3-0 at the break and then 4-0 quickly. But they put the hammer down and got 8. And when your opponent is vulnerable, there are 2 ways a team can go. You can take your foot off the gas and maybe give them a chance to get up off the mat. Or you can go for the kill. City did some killing tonight.
So Detroit City FC cleaning up in the matches that they're supposed to as they continue their climb in the table. But as you talked about, partner, a huge weekend coming up next week. On the road against FC Columbus in a match that figures to be a real grinded out type affair, and then AFC Ann Arbor in town on Sunday. Of course, no love lost there. And next weekend will go a long way in determining how things shake out in the Great Lakes region of the NPSL.
And you know what, this match did an awful lot for City in terms of laying the groundwork toward finishing strong, because I know we're only at June 1st, but remember the season a lot more compacted now. You start thinking about things that'll make a difference in the playoffs. You're putting pressure on AFC Ann Arbor. You also help tonight your points per match statistic, because remember, one of the ways that the playoffs are seeded in the NPSL, because the regions play different amounts of matches, or the conferences rather within the regions, is by points per match, which basically prioritizes wins over draws. City gets a needed 3 points.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Lindsey Pearson, standing by with Ben Pierman. Lindsey.
Coach, how did you see your team adjust in the second half?
I mean, not much. The biggest thing, like we talked about at halftime, was breaking lines, getting turned, and playing forward. You know, they got the penalty early, and it just kind of, you know, they wore down. So it was more, there was some goods and some bads, but obviously, if you take it all into account, like, we just got to keep getting better. So the message now will be that's over. And now we've got 4 days of practice before a big double weekend on the road, and then home to Ann Arbor. So big weekend next weekend, and we got to go for as many points as possible.
Yeah, and what's the key to getting 6 points next weekend?
We got to get healthy, number one. Fitness is still off, so, you know, we've got a friendly tomorrow where we get guys some more minutes, a little bit, guys just finishing, arriving and everything. So, but with that being said, is now it's improvement. We've got our ball speed's got to improve, our defensive transition, just general communication, but we've got a large group of players, so now it's going to be fighting for spots, but not just fighting for spots, finding the best chemistry amongst the group.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, I'm also joined by man of the match, none other than Seb Harris. Seb, you've been with the team since 2014. What keeps you coming back here?
I love the game. You know, I can't give it up. I can't do it. I'm 30, going to be 31 years old, and it's just in my blood that I just keep going, and I just can't stop. And these fans just keep me coming back. And luckily, my wife lets me do it, and I have 2 kids, and I can do it still. But I just love the atmosphere here, and they get me coming back.
What's the value of playing games like this tonight?
I mean, it's good for us to get 90 minutes in, and you know, it's really good for us to possess the ball and get us comfortable with each other. You know, the season's pretty new still, and we just want to get familiar with each other and get the ball rolling. And we're slowly getting mid-season, I guess, and we just need to keep ticking on.
And I have to ask, what's with the windmill? Where did that start? I have to know where it started.
Well, see, I don't know really, but we ended up in when Lansing blew a 3-0 lead. I scored the second goal, and I just grabbed the ball and I started telling everybody, "Let's come on, we're going to do it." And it just took off from there, and you know, it's keep it going.
And what's the key to getting 6 points next weekend, facing FC Columbus and AFC Ann Arbor at home? What's the key to picking up points there that next weekend?
Yeah, just hard work. You know, we just got to outplay every team we play, and when we get out in that field, it's what's in here. You know, it's what's in your heart and what's going to make you strive to beat these teams that come here. And when we travel away, it's what's in your heart, and when we do it, we'll get out there and play the best we can for this club.
Thanks, Seb. Great job tonight. Guys, back to you.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Seb Harris, with his thoughts after this 8-0 victory for Detroit City FC over FC Indiana. And let's get you caught up with what's been going down around the league. AFC Ann Arbor with the win, 2-0 over Grand Rapids. Milwaukee and Kalamazoo in action right now. It's 0-0. But John, hey, bottom line, as I said, make sure you're out here on Sunday, because that matchup against AFC Ann Arbor is going to tell the tale.
First of all, get your tickets at deadcityfc.com. They will go fast. Second of all, I think it's going to be the most pressure-packed match of the regular season. It's going to be an amazing environment.
Let's take a look at the table as it stands right now. Detroit City FC with those 3 points, coupled with that Grand Rapids loss, catapults them into second. They do have a match in hand with AFC Ann Arbor. So really, John, if you can survive in Columbus and sneak out a win against AFC Ann Arbor, you'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You'll knock them off, you'll still have a match in hand, and away you go.
Well, sure, you sit there, even if you draw in Columbus, it'll put you within 3 points, then you knock off AFC Ann Arbor, and you're at the top of the standings. That's how important next week is. But if you're AFC Ann Arbor and you're looking back, who was it that said, don't look back, somebody might be gaining on you? AFC Ann Arbor shouldn't look back at all, because Detroit City FC right there in second place in the table. We thought this would be a 2-horse race in the conference this season. It is slowly proving right. Next weekend's going to be huge.
It no doubt will, and that man Sean Lawson certainly will probably leave his mark on the upcoming matches. We saw the legend Seb Harris out there with the crowd as well. But it was a fun night here in Keyworth as Detroit City FC hangs an 8-burger on the board. They get an 8-0 win over FC Indiana. For our entire broadcast crew, my partner John Krieger, our sideline reporter Lindsey Pearson, my name is Neil Rohr, reminding you one final time, Detroit City FC comes away with the 8-0 win. Make sure you get the match recap. Visit DebtCityFC.com for everything Detroit City FC. Thank you for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.